I've always seen the world as being the best classroom that I've ever been privileged to study in. Always have a plan, always have an adventure, always have the next flight booked, always have something to look forward to, because sometimes life can get a little dull otherwise. I think people live inside their own comfort zone, and I think it's very easy to do that. And some people work to the boundaries of their comfort zone, and they have a very fulfilling, enjoyable life, and some people never move from the centre of it. And getting out there and meeting people, getting out there and seeing these new cultures just suddenly opens the doorway to, oh, I wonder what happens if you turn right instead of left. I wonder what happens if you go down this road instead. And having that open mind, I think, allows you to adopt new things. I think what scares Ben is probably a desire not to be the norm and not to get stuck in the rut of life. I think it's sometimes slightly scary when I go back to where I was in the UK, and God, I love my friends back there. I really do. They are the best people that I've ever grown up with. But when I sometimes see the potential that some of them have got to go out and make the most of their lives, and they haven't, because that's what life does to a lot of people. It gets you stuck in the rut and you're in the mould and you can't get out of it. When I go back there, that sometimes scares me as to what I could potentially have been, and I always want to strive to be slightly more than what my potential was. We are human beings on a planet. We're not English, or we're not Muslim, or we're not Canadian. We're not all these different cultures separately. We're people that live together on one blooming great rock, travelling around the sun. And I think that ultimately we're all, cheesily enough, brothers and sisters that enjoy life together. Going out there and tasting a piece of all those different people's lives gives you a better appreciation of what you've got. You become more accepting, more grateful, and I think it just makes you a better human being. I think I'll still be doing it at 60 years old. I think I'll still be trying to run at 70 years old. I think I'll still be trying to find another adventure. Soph might have slowed me down a little bit and said, hang on a second, we've been doing this for 50 years now. Isn't it time just to chill out for a while? But we'll get to that stage and we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, every day, get up, attack it and see what happens at the end. For me, being a husband, being a father is now what it's the forefront of everything that I do. Couple that with a venture of this size and undertaking, not only the planning and the training involved, it's a battle that I'm fighting to try and find the balance, to be honest. You've got to surround yourself with people who inspire you and motivate you, and that's essentially the team that we've built. For me, I work to live. My career is, I don't need to have a title, I'm not that kind of person, so in that aspect it's very easy for me to find the balance. And again, coming back to the forefront of who I want to be, and someone looks at me and what they see is, as long as I'm there for my son and my wife, and they're healthy and happy, that's all that matters.
I'm on the other side of the planet completely to the other two lads, and what scares me about the New Zealand 9 project is just the sheer size of the undertaking. I'm sitting here now, I'm looking at the map, I'm looking at the figures, I'm looking at the distances involved, and I just don't even know if it's at all possible. Is it going to be right? I don't know. That's what we're going to find out, I suppose. Just as valid and just as much an adventure for some people to climb a tree as it is for other people to climb a mountain. For me, I like my adventures to happen in the outside. I prefer them to involve mud, boots, bikes, boats, and hopefully the end in a beer. For us, and where we are at the end of the day, amateur adventurers. We're not pros. We work most of the time, contrary to what some people think. But we have to fit in our training in and around our everyday lives. There are adventures to be had on your doorstep, and there are adventures to be had on the far horizon. And I'd like the girls to grow up thinking that they can embrace the challenges of those adventures. I don't want to be the kind of dad that just gets old, sitting in front of the TV, getting fat, getting grumpy, and not doing anything. I'd like to sort of set an example for my kids that you can put challenges in front of yourself, you can go out and achieve things, you can embrace the outdoors, You can embrace your surroundings wherever you are, really. I mean, this just happens to be on the other side of the planet.
It was a bizarre meeting of the three of us. When we got our heads together for the first time, Luke met Pat met Luke. They got on well. We didn't have a fight. We ran together. We sat down with a map and we planned the whole adventure. We'd become good friends, good enough to go and take on a challenge like this together and throw ourselves in at the deep end. And the adventures are all about that, and this is what our friendship was all about as well.
It's the individual pursuit for me personally, to look deep within the times of hurt, when you've got the pain, when you've got everything screaming at you to stop, and you can look within and keep going. And that's something that I never knew I was actually made of.
Life creates the next adventure itself. I think if you put yourself out there enough and the harder you work, the luckier you sometimes get.